Hi, I'm Tiffany, and this is The Balanced Life Redefine Success, Redefine Fail. And today I'm going to begin a series on how to prepare for better times. The purpose in starting this channel was to help people out there who might see themselves or where they are and decide this is not where I want to stay. There are some people who, when they graduate from high school or college, they get into a specific career track and that's their thing, and they go for their 50 years to get their watch, and that's great. There are some people like in firefighting where you get a really great job as a fire medic in your early 20s and you stay there until retirement. You might have a little side hustle, but this is what you want to do and this is what you've always wanted to do. Maybe same thing as a teacher or things like that. But for many of us, we will do a series of different jobs throughout life. We'll do different things. And this channel is about helping people, whether you need help with running, managing a food bank, or providing for people who use a food bank, which you can see that in the videos that I make on food preparation and putting together boxed meals and things. And I'm really excited. I'll be sharing soon. I found a church that is using an idea very similar to what I came up with 15 years ago and what I'm trying to promote with this channel. But also it's for people who are like, I'm not happy with where my life is and who I am as a person, and I want to come to a higher level, whether that's emotionally, psychologically, financially, professionally, whatever it is. I'm a person that always wants to grow and change, and I'm looking for other people who have those same feelings and want to be a part of this channel. And so this 5-part series is going to be very targeted in that area. So the first thing is how to prepare for better times, deciding what you need to know. And this is something I'm traveling alongside you with, something I'm doing personally, because right now, I would like to get into real estate investing, and I would like to own multifamily properties as well as purchase properties for resale and things like that, not flipping them. But I don't want to be a real estate agent either. It's kind of hard. I won't describe all of it right now. That might be a future videos. But what I was thinking about is, since I don't have, right now the market is not where I want it to be in order to invest. And I have a clear sense of my ideal kind of investment property. But I realized that there were things that I needed to learn in order to effectively execute. And so since now is not the time to buy, now is the time to learn, which is why I'm sharing this with you, because you may be in that same place. So this 5-part series is for people who are trying to improve their current situation. And here I specifically professionally or financially. So I'm going to take you through the process I have used again and again and am currently using to incrementally improve my financial situation. And today you need to decide where to start. So really deciding what you need to know. I've talked in other videos about, assessing where you are and where you want to go and things in terms of more budgeting. This is professionally. So if you're in high school and you know that you want to be, I don't know, let me pick a teacher because it's easy. You want to be a teacher. You know that you need to find a program that has a good education program. You'll need to do student teaching. You'll need to complete a 4-year degree. Maybe you want to be an electrician or a pipe fitter. So you know that you need to find a mentorship program, a trade school. You need to go through the time being a novice, craftsman. I don't remember what all the levels are called right now, but like master and things like that. You have to go through the process within my degrees in political science and medieval European history. So I would say a guild, but I know it's not called a guild anymore. But you have to go through a specific process. And if you don't know what that is, like if I wanted to become an electrician and I don't know the right terminology, I need to find that out. And that's what this video is about. So people will often use a vacation or a trip analogy. I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm not. But I'm in Pennsylvania and I want to go see the Grand Canyon. I'm not just going to jump in my car and just go on a road and hope I end up there. I'm not going to jump in my car and go west and hope I end up there. I'm going to get a map. I'm going to get directions. I'm going to plan food. Great analogy. However, it doesn't always carry over. You need to be more focus than just that. And this is not a vacation with a set destination and a set time. Because yes, in that analogy, you could have a traffic jam or a slowdown, but it's not really accurate in portraying everything that has to happen in order to professionally grow, especially if you're trying to maybe start your own business. Like for me, in real estate, I don't know when the market is going to really have the things and conditions and prices, and I'm going to have the capital and interest rates that I want and need in order to execute. So I'm going to be learning until I see that sweet spot, and then I'm going to jump in. It's not like driving to the Grand Canyon. It could take me 6 months. It could take me 3 years. I don't know. It could take 10 years. So, number one, what are you interested in? Is it a career change? Is it schooling? For me, like I said, it's real estate investing of various kinds. So, in order to get ready, what are some of the things that need to happen? Well, for me, I need to read basic real estate books. I took a course with somebody who does a specific kind of real estate investing that I'm very interested in doing. I'm interested in multifamily units as one part of it. And so I have taken courses and I'm reading books from people who have done this for decades. See, I'm not just looking for people who have been doing it for the last 5, even 10 years. I remember back in 2005 when everything went down in real estate and our house like plunged. The value went down something like 45% within a couple of years. I want somebody who's been doing this since like the early 2000s, late 90s, who have gone through these cycles so that I can learn it. And I'll explain why in a minute. I want to learn some basic home inspection things. I don't want to get my license, but I want to know what I need to be able to recognize so I can do initial due diligence and only pay somebody for a really great property. I don't want to miss something. Use an example, water damage. I want to know how to recognize water damage. And so, which that's an easy example, but there's others. Maybe I don't know how to recognize termite issues because I live in a brick home and I've never had to deal with termites. So there's things that I need to learn how to recognize. And money. I need money. And so saving up capital, learning about investments, people who will invest, those kind of things. Those are the ideas that I have for my own. So what are yours? What are you interested in? And so what kind of things do you need to learn about? Do you see how real estate investing, I want to go general and I also want to go specific, and I know the kind of thing I want to do? Second, who will I learn it from? I'm going to learn it from articles. I'm going to talk in a future video, not in this series, but in a later series, on identifying bias in writing. It's very important. Yes, our media is completely biased. It's been biased all through time. I mean, if you look at Paul Revere and you look at the American Revolution and things like that, we've always had bias in the media. Europeans recognize this. Americans think because it's protected in the Constitution that we somehow have this magically unbiased. Walter Cronkite was not unbiased. He was just the only thing in town, so he didn't have to defend himself. Okay? So that illusion, now that it's gone, you need to recognize that there is an inherent bias in every person who writes an article. It's not bad. I have a bias towards certain things and against certain things. And as long as you know what those are, you will understand the potential blind spots I have and the things you can learn from me. So it's really very great. Books. I'm looking at books, like I said, from people 98 to 2002, 2005 to 2010, and 2012 to now. I want to look at different articles, different circumstances, different kinds of investing. This is where a library is phenomenal, as well as ebooks, and going on things like Amazon to find older, maybe out of print books. I don't like ebooks because I like to be able to write them and I don't want them altered. And there have been examples where books have been updated after purchase. I want to have the actual physical text as it was written at the time of publication to learn from those things. I don't want it updated based on new information. I want to spot the things that maybe they missed and didn't understand so I can spot them the next time. Do you understand that? So I compile texts, meaning books, not text messages, and begin learning. I create an organized system for note-taking. So you'll need to do this as well, whether you use a 3-ring binder, whether you use a notebook, some organized means of note-taking. If you're looking at different schools, having a way to maintain those. yes, have an electronic version, but also have a paper version. Deciding where you need additional research and practicing what you have learned. I practice what I learned by playing things like the cash flow game that Robert Kiyosaki invented, by playing Monopoly. I actually kind of create my own scenarios where I have a due diligence sheet that I created, and I'll go on to Zillow or Realtor.com, and I will pretend like I'm looking to buy a number, whether 10 or 20 different properties, and I go through a due diligence process, and I think of the different kinds of questions and things I would want to look for. I look at the community, things like that. I'm trying to think like an investor. I listen to people who are investing on podcasts and on YouTube videos and just in the community. And I listen to what they do and don't do, say and don't say, the kind of terminologies, the things they watch out for. So practicing what you learned. So this is where those high school research papers come in. I wrote that down. I loved writing research papers as a professional writer. It's essentially what I did. But things like keeping the note cards and jotting down where you found specific information so you can go back and reread it later and things like that. And number 4, condense your notes by creating a document. This one could be typed up, and it probably will be easier for you if you type it. Where you put together steps for yourself. This helps you to process information and use it later because it may be years before you can execute. Okay, if you're in a class, obviously you know to take notes. But for me, for example, when I'm practicing my due diligence, I may write down step 1, check this. Also, how do you check crime rates? How do you check real estate turnover rates? How do you check for water issues? Is it in a flood zone? I jot down the names of the websites that I use to research those various things. How do I look at comps? Where do I find what rents are in that area? How do I find the job market in that area? How likely is this thing to happen versus this? What's the lead paint issue? How many unrented units are there in that area? These kind of things. And I go, step 1, look at this. Step 2, look at this. So I practice and build a flow, a workflow thing. And it's getting from big to small, 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 till I get this small number of properties. And then those I really go in depth. You would do the same thing. I'll have more on this on tomorrow's video, but I hope what you're starting to see is when you start to think about what it is that you want to do. Maybe you want to start gardening. Jerry Baker is really cool, although he can get expensive if you don't have all that stuff on hand. Do you want to do organic gardening? Do you want to do greenhouse gardening? Do you want to garden in your house? Do you live in an area where you can garden outside year round? Do you want to do canning? All these kind of things, kind of learning it. It's not just about professional, but this gives you an idea of how to keep notes and keep track of stuff. And in previous generations, people did this, but we have so much ready access to information. I think we forget to take the time to process it ourselves and write things down. We just think, oh, we'll go back later. Then you're not learning, you're just reading, and you're not making it your own, and you're not innovating, you're just copying. So if you want to try to do something innovative and not simply copy, and you want to try to grow and develop into a new area, then what you're going to need to do is start processing that information, figure out what you still need to learn, and set about a specific plan to learning it. So on tomorrow's video, we will move into deeper learning. We'll talk about how to dig deeper into a topic and use some of the other things that I've already talked about. I hope you got something out of this video. I would love it if you would share in the comments some of the things you're learning and some of the resources you've used and how they've helped you. And I will see you on tomorrow's video. Bye.